All right, let's dive right into this explainer and look at what actually drives ethical maturity in the workplace. Today, we're moving past the abstract philosophy and digging straight into concrete, empirical data. We are going to unpack a really fascinating study that examines exactly what makes an employee ethically mature. We all probably remember the massive corporate scandals of the early 2000s, think Enron or WorldCom. Well, those monumental collapses proved that a lack of corporate ethics isn't just some PR headache. It's literally an existential threat to business survival in the 21st century. Without a solid baseline of ethical behavior, even the most profitable giants can just crumble overnight.
So, to really ground our exploration, let's pin down what we actually mean by business ethics. It's not just about blindly following the law. It's a comprehensive approach guiding fairness for everyone involved. It serves as a vital success criterion for global business, encompassing your individual choices, corporate policies, and the wider systemic impacts. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The global ethics imperative. 2. Pakistan's unique business context. 3. Predicting ethical maturity. 4. The data, what drives ethics, and 5, building ethical organizations. Section 1, the global ethics imperative, moving beyond survival.
Here's the thing, implementing ethical practices just isn't optional anymore. It actively curbs corruption, enhances how employees treat each other, and builds competitive global trust. In today's market, being ethical is pretty much the only reliable way to secure a lasting position and win the trust of your customers worldwide.
Section 2, Pakistan's unique business context, a fast-developing case study. To set the stage for our data, keep in mind that a full 97% of Pakistan's population is Muslim. This is absolutely vital context because any successful ethical framework implemented in this region has to integrate deeply with Islamic work ethics. You can't just copy and paste Western work ethics into a vastly different cultural landscape and expect perfect compliance, right? It really has to resonate with the local belief system. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it means integrating core tenets like strict honesty, keeping promises, fair compensation, and a hard zero-tolerance policy for nepotism and fraud. These are universal anti-corruption principles, and they create a flawless baseline for measuring ethical maturity. And that applies not just locally, but for organizations anywhere in the world looking to standardize fairness.
Section 3, predicting ethical maturity, the Mythbuster phase.
Okay, I want you to ask yourself a question. Does a 26-year-old inherently show more ethical maturity than a 24-year-old simply because of a couple more years of life experience? We always hear that age brings wisdom, but is that statistically true when faced with tough business dilemmas?
And what about education? Does having a 4-year bachelor's degree mechanically translate into making more ethical decisions on the job? Like, does spending years in a university classroom actually shape your moral compass once you're in a corporate setting? Then there's the public sector. Does navigating all that heavy bureaucracy and dealing with massive social impact make you a more ethical employee by default? You'd think government workers might be the most by-the-book people around, wouldn't you? And finally, the big one. Can a company actually train an employee to be more ethically mature? Or is a person's morality pretty much fixed by the time you hire them? Are those mandatory corporate training seminars actually moving the needle?
Section 4, the data. What drives ethics?
All right, the findings from the 380 Pakistani professionals are in, and the data shows a clear and undeniable link. Age emerged as the single strongest predictor of ethical maturity by a really wide margin. As people get older, continuous learning genuinely increases their rational, ethical decision-making. Coming in second is on-the-job ethics training, followed by formal education. When we look at the complex math behind this, the takeaway is actually beautifully simple. It completely proves the hypotheses. Life experience and direct corporate training literally work wonders. The data verifies that your age and the training you receive at work have a significantly stronger impact on your personal ethics than just holding a college degree alone. So you can't just hire educated people and call it a day. You have to train them, and you really have to value the behavioral maturity that naturally comes with age. Now here is a real shocker. While management experience, age, and education successfully predicted ethical maturity, government work experience failed completely. No way, right? The data showed zero significant relationship with personal business ethics. The study suggests this is probably due to mechanistic procedures or outdated bureaucracy in the public sector that simply don't foster individual moral growth the way private sector training does. Section 5. Building Ethical Organizations, the Global Takeaway. Since we know from the hard data that on-the-job training absolutely works, it was our second highest predictor, we really need to heed this advice from industry leaders. An ethical environment strictly flows top-down from engaged leadership. You just can't expect your workforce to be highly ethical if leadership isn't explicitly enforcing, modeling, and training for it every single day. Applying guidelines like exercising honest communication and enhancing capabilities through targeted training, that's what actually transforms a workplace culture. You have to focus on the people because, people make up the organization. It goes far beyond mere compliance or checking legal boxes to truly nurturing human capabilities. So based on what the data just proved about the sheer power of training and real-life experience over mere compliance, I'll leave you with this final question. Consider how you might start transforming your own workplace today. Are you actively building an environment that nurtures ethical decision-making, or are you just passively waiting for the next scandal? Thanks for exploring this data with me, and keep questioning the systems around you.